All right. All right, we're officially live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Trails on the Spectrum. So, this is actually the first off-road campground podcast with the new name, Trails on the Spectrum, because there was already a another YouTube channel that had the same name as me, a couple of others. So I decided to rename it just to be unique and be different from the others, maybe get some more subscribers eventually. But welcome to another episode of the Off-Road Campground podcast that I like to do every Saturday around this time after breakfast, after brushing my teeth and getting ready for the morning and waiting to do my mom's trash day. So in this episode, we want to do our summer survival guide because summer is here and we got to be safe out there. So to survive the trails, of course, you need your machine. But here are some things I would bring on the trails. Oh, here we go. Top pick was the summer off-road camping survival guide. Cover staying cool at camp, heat safety for riders and families, hydration and food storage, keeping UTVs and ATVs from overheating, avoid crowded holiday weekends like 4th of July, and summer packing mistakes. So the first thing is, of course, camping. For the summer, for my personal experience, I would stay in a cabin because you got AC. You can put on full blast, keep you nice and cool during those hot summer months. It's to stay in a cabin because cabins have AC. Well, some cabins have AC. Another thing is, if you want to stay in a tent, you actually bring your own fan to keep you nice and cool during those hot summer months. Yeah, the summer off-road. Okay, so when you're camping on the trail, let's say you come back from a very hot day of trail riding, the best thing to do is to at least pick something that would have built-in air conditioning, an RV, or one of those, or a cabin, which me and my dad usually stay in a cabin mostly, which Turtle Pond at Carolina Adventure World has AC. It has a small kitchen, a small mini bedroom with 2 bunk beds in front of the bathroom, a living room that only has a table, doesn't really have much of anything. And we've actually talked about that in the previous episode. We talked about what to do during your downtime, and while you're doing that to keep you nice and cold during those hot summer months is to turn on the AC full blast. Same thing in an RV, you can turn on the AC if you wanted to. And there's also fans you would probably have to plug into an outlet, like an extension cord. But I guess the best thing to do is to get one of those power splitters, plug one in to your fan and the other for a small mini TV, or just bring as many power cords as you need, or I'm not really sure exactly how people in a tent stay nice and cool during those hot summer months. But sometimes if you don't have a fan to keep you nice and cool, or a battery powered fan, or one that plugs into an outlet, then I guess you'll be burning up if you don't have one. But you always make sure you get one to keep you nice and cool. Also, have plenty of water, plenty of Gatorade, zero sugar, Gatorade, water, and that'll keep you hydrated. And I guess soda's okay if you're in a nice, cool cabin or RV. But in a tent, water and Gatorade will be the best. And also, if you're camping outside, make sure you bring bug spray, you know, bug repellent, sunscreen, and a lot of us usually bring a grill or a griddle or something to cook your food on, and that's when you need the most bug spray, bug repellent, is when you're cooking, because the bugs are bad at night, mostly at night. If you're camping outside, but in a cabin, it wouldn't be, I guess, as bad, because you got built-in air conditioning. You have a AC unit in the in some of the yeah, you have built-in AC in some of the cabins, and of course you have multiple air conditioners in a family cabin. Even when you're, I guess, since we're getting ready for a Surrey bike, if I take my Surrey bike to Myrtle Beach State Park and we're staying in a cabin, I always turn on the AC if it's hot, or we usually don't, I guess, stay when it's like hot, hot. We usually stay when it's a little colder, and I can ride my Surrey bike to the pier, get some ice cream or whatever. I can take my Surrey bike, but I can either walk on the beach or take my Surrey bike, which I'm going to be taking the Surrey bike most of the time. Well, all the time. It's a lot quicker to get back on a Surrey bike than walking on the beach and taking it back to the cabins. I mean, that Surrey bike can be used quite a lot. Even if I'm camping at somewhere like Pirate Land, yeah, I don't think we've only done spring or winter at Pirate Land. But during the summer months, I haven't really seen any of the cabins at Pirate Land a whole lot. Pirate Land Pirate Land campground. You go Pirate Land camping. So a lot of the so I guess in this type of We'll come to the website and we'll look at lodging. Amenity services. Let's try vacation rentals. Yeah. We actually stayed in one of these before. And this one has an air conditioner, I think. That's if you want to go and ride story bikes down the beach or wherever. We stayed in one of these before during Thanksgiving. I slept on this side of the bed before on this side. But in this kind of, they don't have a CRT TV anymore. They have a modern day TV. Yep, central heat and AC. And they have a much larger one as well. Let's go to annual lease sites. Yeah. Vacation rentals, campsites. Let's go to specials. Nope. Trailer sites, trailer sales. I don't know if those are actual rentals or what. But the actual log cabins. Let's try campsites. Yeah, they have different regular campsites. They can go camping. Which is not really the best. And with Pirate Land camping, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no cell, any of that stuff. And I've never really stayed the night at Riverneck because me and my dad always do a day trip since we're literally an hour or less than an hour away from Riverneck. We can go off roading for a day, maybe 2 days. But I do know the best, yeah, the best cabin to stay in is Turtle Pond. If you want a big, large space with one bedroom, two bunk beds, two beds, or one bathroom, a bunk bed. So that's two. You can sleep with 6 people. One in the living room, two in the bunk beds in the corner, and two probably in the um, master bedroom. So there's the AC. There's a refrigerator to keep your drinks nice and cool during those hot summer months. There's a lot that go into Yeah, there's a lot that go into. Yeah, there's a lot of that go into camping when you're trail riding with a side by side. I haven't really seen or experienced what it's like to go camping at Wind Rock in Tennessee and Durhamtown in Georgia. I don't think I've ever experienced that. And I haven't experienced what it's like to go camping at in West Virginia, in Beckley at the Havel McCoy trails. So I haven't really experienced that yet, but probably will down the road. Usually in the fall, the winter, well, mostly the winter time, or yeah, mostly in the winter time, we go riding. Maybe the late, maybe sometime, yeah, we go riding the fall, the winter, but never the spring or summer. We've never done any of that before or ever will. But we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But I have experienced camping at Carolina Adventure World. I guess they have a whole road full of cabins, which some of them are small, some of them are medium sized. I guess it depends on how many you go riding with. If you go riding with a whole family, then yeah, Turtle Pond, because you got two bunk beds, you got a kitchen, you've got a bedroom. The others I haven't really seen yet, but they do have really good um, cabins. And now that we've talked about camping, and now it's time to talk about the actual trail riding. So, for the actual trail riding, before you, especially if you're going camping, the first thing you got to do before you leave your cabin or your campsite or wherever you're staying, put on sunscreen, mix in with bug repellent, and also pack some drinks like water, Gatorade, whatever to bring with you on the trail. Another thing you have to worry about is a lot of wildlife, but I don't think I've ever experienced any of that during the winter, mainly during the winter at Cal Adventure World. And on the day when it's, I guess on those hot days, you'll probably experience a lot of heat. And that's where also for your phone, the best thing to do, yeah, the best thing to do is put your phone somewhere nice and cool, like in a compartment somewhere. You can stick it into the dash compartment of a lot of Polaris razors, but I'm not sure about Can-Am um, or Kawasaki or CF Moto or anywhere else. You can put your phone to keep it nice and cool during those hot summer days. And what's really cool about having the razor I have is you can open up the vents for more ventilation for the wind to blow through and keep you nice and cool during those hot summer days. During the winter, it's always going to close the vents and open the vents during the spring and summer and even in the fall months. Other than that, just have fun on the trails. I mean, the main thing you got to do when you're riding on the trails is to bring. Okay, yeah, we've already talked about staying cool at camp. Is to stay somewhere with AC or bring your own fan or AC, mini AC unit or mini fan. Heat safety for riders and families. So that's another thing is to keep you nice and cool during your trail rides because a lot of side by sides are not ventilated, which means it doesn't stay cool inside the cabin. When you're gonna be revving up your engine, it gets really really hot in there, and you'll be sweating a lot. That's another thing. You gotta bring extra pair of clothes, and also put your phone in shade where it won't get hot because when you use your phone for a long period of time in the summer in a side by side. And another thing is you don't charge your phone during the summer when even in the especially if you have a phone like this, the iPhone 15 Pro Max or any other iPhone, then you don't charge your phone during those hot summer days or else it's going to discharge. I mean, it's going to stop charging anyway because of how hot it is. The best thing to do is to have a freshly charged battery before you leave at 100% and then leave and put your music on, and it should last you quite a while. But if you want to charge your phone, just charge it on the outside. Won't trap in all the heat in the cabin, not in the cabin, but more in the compartments, trapping all the heat in that regard. I think so, that's what I'm gonna do. Or the best thing to do is keep your phone in your pocket. And if you want to change music or change your music, just bring it out of your pocket and put it back in. Makes it a lot easier. Also, might even also keep your battery charged during those hot summer days. And to keep your drinks cool, it's going to be hard to because they're going to get very hot really quick, especially with the heat of the engine and the heat outside, all mixed in. It's all mixed in. Basically, you'll be running in an oven, like a rolling oven. It's going to be that hot on most days during the summer. So that's why I got to bring plenty of fluids. Side by side accessories to keep you nice and cool on hot summer trail rides. Or you can put your phone on a phone holder to keep it nice and cool. Another thing you can bring a first aid kit. Make sure you get a first aid kit to keep in your side by side whenever you need it. Also, a tire repair kit if you need to patch up your tire or if it's loose on air, just pump air into it. Ooh, 3 pairs of motorcycle riding glasses. Oh, with UV protection, dust proof, waterproof, which is really good for off roading on a side by side. A phone holder that can go onto the pillar. Hangers. Yeah, hooks for hanging headsets, helmet, and goggles. So, got different goggles, a UTV cover, which covers up your entire side by side, especially when in storage if you want to keep it nice and cool. The Kimimoto side by side zipper UTV cover, which is good for storage. If you're storing it outside, you can put a cover on it to keep it nice and cool during those hot summer days. Ooh, whip lights. Yeah, you can actually do whip lights, Bluetooth app control, and music synchronized, so your lamps will be the music. The best thing to do is to get the smallest 1 foot pack of two for $60. See how that will look. Not too bad. These are really cool. It would be cool to get some whip lights to go on the back of my side by side. And for the 4th of July, American flags to hang on the side by side. And you also need, like, if you don't have what I have, uh, um, the side by side storage container, you can actually get like a very small tackle box to keep all your stuff in. Which I do have a first aid kit. I have a helmet. I got everything in there, ready to go. Tire repair kit. And if you're riding with a toddler, it's always going to get a booster seat, like an ATV booster seat, to go into the back, and also 4-point harnesses might keep you nice and safe, not just during the summer, but also all year round. Or, if your tire goes flat, you can actually get one of these tire inflators. This one's by Roke. I don't know how to say it. Rock Grold RA tire inflator for putting air in the tire if you are going flat, if you're low on air. Different storage bags and tire inflators and Whipple lights and all that stuff. Even a battery charger. If your battery goes dead, because heat will discharge battery, so you always have to bring those 12-volt battery chargers. Those battery chargers. And also lights for those night rides during the summer, because that's a lot when a lot of people want to ride is at night when it's nice and cool, the sun's not baking down on you, and all that stuff. And also during the summer, a lot of us like to clean our side by sides because we're be mudding a lot and want to keep it nice and clean. So a pressure washer is really good. as well. There's a lot of accessories to keep you safe during those hot summer months. So there's so many other accessories to keep you nice and cool during those hot summer months when you're trail riding. Another part of the you can talk about hydration and food storage. Just another thing. So when it comes to food and food and drink hydration storage. So when it comes to keeping yourself hydrated, yeah, water and Gatorade, the zero sugar Gatorade or Powerade, zero sugar, mainly water. I would stay away from soda because soda during the hot summer months can really, not that good for you. So the best thing to drink is water and um, electrolytes, your Gatorade, your Powerade, but mostly the zero sugar ones. Those are really good for trail riding because you'll be in the you'll be the hot sun, and yeah, it'll keep you nice and hydrated very quick. And also for food storage, it's always good to bring. What I like to do is bring like another cooler. So I have two different coolers, one for drinks and the other for snacks. Or just pack everything into one self-contained cooler, your drinks and your snacks. I'm not sure what kind of snacks you would actually bring. You mean you can pack like sandwiches, especially if you want to have like a small mini picnic inside your side by side. You can bring snacks. You can bring not just snacks, but also a full blown lunch. You're going to be gone until the evening, or if you're camping, then yeah, you can go back to your cabin for lunch, like have a PB&J or a ham and cheese sandwich or anything like that. It'll and also some chips, some Gatorade, Powerade before you go back out on the trail. That's what's cool about camping is that you can ride for an hour or so and then go back to your cabin for lunch and then go back out for and then ride around just enough time for dinner, and then that's where the dinner will come in. But if you're just going for a day trip, you can pack some sandwiches, some chips. If you want to bring some chips, some potato chips, maybe maybe a granola bar, maybe an energy bar, some fruit like grapes if you want, and just bring stuff that's easy to carry around in a cooler. And then that cooler can be put in the back somewhere. But if you're trail riding, then or mud bogging, or another thing you do is find a picnic table on the trail to stop and have lunch, and then get back on the trail again. Which we never have to do that at Carolina Adventure World, because at Carolina Adventure World, we always go back to the cabin and we have lunch and we go back out after lunch and go riding around for a little bit until dinner time. When dinner time comes, that's when it's time for the trails to close. What was also really cool is that you can actually, like, if you have to go somewhere, like to the bathroom or whatever, you can actually go and take your side by side, drive it, and or if you have to go to the front, you can drive your side by side, park it, and then go inside if you need to. I'm not sure what people do at Carolina Adventure World after after the trails close. So we've already talked about hydration and food storage. So hydration and mostly bring a cooler. Coolers are much easier to carry around. They're cheap and they're widely available, especially in the summer. People are going to the beach, and what no better way? Yeah, what no better way to find food and beverage storage than by looking at your regular old cooler that you put into the back, and you'll have plenty of food, plenty of drinks to last you for hours on the trail until dinner time or lunchtime or whatever. Another thing is keeping UTV/ATVs from overheating. Okay, according to Google, yeah, to keep your UTV or ATV from overheating is regularly clean the radiator fins with a low pressure water hose. Check coolant levels before every ride and avoid long idling periods. Maintaining airflow and avoiding clutch heavy riding in steep technical terrain will keep your engine running cool. Okay, so the first thing is to rent and cool, radiator and cooling system maintenance. Your radiator is the heart of your off road vehicle cooling system, and keeping it clear of mud and debris is crucial. Rinse thoroughly after every muddy ride. Wash out dirt, grass, and debris from both the front and the back of the radiator fins. Use a low pressure hose or compressed air so you don't bend the delicate fins. And maintain coolant. This is what almost everyone does: is regularly check your coolant reservoir, ensuring it's filled to the manufacturer's recommended level. Always use an OEM approved coolant and only add distilled water if necessary to avoid mineral buildup. And that's why a lot of us, I mean, rinse thoroughly is the big one, because when it comes to maintaining the coolant, it's part of the maintenance, your professional service, if you will, because it'll check the coolant, it'll check the oil, the air filter, everything is going to be checked if you do it professionally, which I'll be good for 50 hours, just 2 or 3 months, which is perfect for a summer ride. Then after the summer, take it to um, Red Line Power Sports and go riding around and checking the fan. Yeah, listen for your radiator cooling fan while the vehicle is running. If it fails to kick on when the engine gets hot, you may need a new fan motor, relay, or thermostat, which I usually keep it around 200, 205 or less. I never get above that. Yeah, listen for the fan, which it usually kicks on when I'm stopping or whatever. Yeah, listen for your radiator cooling fan while the vehicle is running. And if it fails to kick on while the engine gets hot, you may need a new fan, motor relay, or thermostat. Oh, here we go. Riding habits and techniques. This is especially good for trail riding. How to operate your machine how you operate your machine plays a massive role in operating temperature. Keep your momentum, maintain some speed when you can, moving air drops, coolant. Oh, here we go. Yeah, keep your momentum, maintain some speed when you can, moving airdrops, coolant temperatures much faster than creeping along. Use low gear in tough terrain. If you are rock crawling, driving through thick mud, or pulling heavy loads, shift to low gear. High gear causes your drive belt and engine to work far too hard at slow speeds, generating immense heat. Limit idling. Air cooled and liquid cooled engines rely on moving air to properly regulate heat. If you are stopped for more than a minute or two, shut the engine off. Upgrades for extreme conditions. High capacity radiators. Upgrade to a dual core or large capacity radiator improves overall heat exchange. High pressure radiator caps. A higher pressure cap 1.6 bar raises the boiling point of your coolant. Exhaust wrap and heating shields. If radiator heat from the exhaust is cooking your cab or engine bay, you can apply reflective foil tape or exhaust wrap to lower ambient temperatures. How do you do that when riding around in the yard? So this is what I'll be doing mostly in the summers, running around the yard since we don't have time to go out and trail ride. Oh, to keep your ATV or ATV cool while working or playing around the yard, focus on maintaining frequent stops, load speed tasks, and heavy workloads. Manage low speed tasks. Yard work often requires slow driving. Shift to low gear. Always use low gear when towing trailers, hauling firewood, or pulling lawn implements. This reduces engine strain and saves your drive belt from overheating. Take cooling laps if you've been idling or creeping along for 15 minutes. Take a quick breast lap around the yard, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Let's kind of change that up. We're going to edit how you do that when riding around in the yard in a sport side by side, like the Polaris. Yeah, like the Polaris RZR XP4 1000. RZR XP4 1000, which means it's the four-seater. So I'm just cruising along. Stay in low gear. Keep the machine in low gear for any rides under 15 to 20 miles per hour. Yeah, to keep a high performance sport machine with the Polaris Razor XP4000 from overheating while riding around the yard, you must maintain its low speed airflow and prevent clutch belt heat because this machine is built to run fast in open terrain. Putting it around the yard can cause rapid heat buildup. Master the low gear rule. The RCR XP1000 uses a continuous variable transmission that relies on RPMs to spin and internal fan, and cool the drive belt. Stay in low gear, keep the machine in a low for any riding under 15 to 20 miles per hour. Driving in high gear at slow yard speeds cause massive friction on the belt, generating intense heat and transfers directly to the engine block. Vary the throttle, avoid holding the signal, or avoid holding a single steady creeping speed. Give it a short, crisp snaps of throttle to get the RPMs up, which forces the clutch fan to draw in cool air. Oh, create artificial airflow. Sport UTVs require forced air to cool down, which vanishes when you are confined to a yard, like a three acre lot. Take cooling laps for every 10 to 15 minutes of slow riding or tight turns in the yard. Take a brisk straightaway lap at 25 to 30 miles per hour if space allows. It doesn't. Only on my 1 mile long driveway. This forces high velocity air through the radiator to intense drop coolant temperatures. Turn off when stopped. Don't let the RZR sit in idle. If I'm stopped more than 60 seconds, turn the engine off. Defend the radiator from yard debris. Yeah, because the RZR sits low and has a front mounted radiator, yard riding exposes it to unique clogs like blast out grass seed. Riding in a yard chops up grass. And so much more. Use a leaf blower or garden hose to spray out the front grill or radiator fins after every ride. Clean behind the fascia. Mud and grass can get trapped between the front plastic fascia and the radiator itself. Pop the front hood piece off regularly to inspect and clean the hidden inside the radiator. Check the razor fan and voltage. Listen for the fan. Ensure the radiator fan kicks on automatically when the digital dash gauge climbs. Watch your battery voltage at slow yard speeds and low RPMs. The stator doesn't change at full capacity if I am running aftermarket stereo systems or heavy LED light bars while putting around the yard. I can drain the battery, causing the cooling fan to speed slower and less efficiently. It actually doesn't. It says to help narrow down any potential issues, let me know, is the RCR already throwing a hot code like check engine / overheating? Nope, it's not. Have you added any aftermarket accessories like a full windshield or a front bumper winch that might block the front grille? I'm not going to answer that, but those are some things to do to keep it nice and cool and keep it from overheating during your rides, even if you just want to ride around the yard. To keep it from, to keep the battery from draining and all that stuff. So that's basically how you keep it from overheating. But I guess on open trails, it shouldn't be that bad. Also, check the coolant and make sure everything is clean out of the radiator and all that stuff during your trail rides. Avoid crowded holiday weekends. Ooh, 4th of July is the worst. What are the most crowded holiday weekends to trail ride? For off road parks, campgrounds, and trail systems, these are usually the most crowded holiday weekends for riding in the US, especially in the Southeast where you are. 4th of July weekend, usually the busiest of the year. Families camp multiple days. Expect packed trails, heat, dust, and late night campground activity. Water crossings and shaded trails become crowded fast. Number two, Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start of summer. So this past Memorial Day weekend, it was the busiest. Lots of first trips of the season. Yeah, lots of first trips of the season, and campgrounds fill up quickly and trails get congested. Labor Day weekend, last big trail ride weekend. Yeah, last big summer ride weekend. Heavy traffic because people squeeze in one more camping trip. Thanksgiving weekend, surprisingly huge in many off road parks because cooler temps equals better riding, especially popular in the Southeast. Number five, spring break and Easter weekend. Depends on the area, but family parks get slammed. New Year's weekend, many parks run special rides and events. What to expect on crowded weekends, longer wait times at trail entrances, dustier conditions, and more beginner riders on trails. Increased breakdowns in recovery situations, harder to find campsites without reservations, and more night riding activity. If I want less crowded riding, try riding the weekend after a holiday, mid to late August. Mid August. He keeps crowds down. Non-holiday fall weekends and Friday through Sunday instead of Saturday only trips. This could actually make a great segment for your podcast. Holiday weekend, trail riding, worth it or skip it? Oh, we'll talk about that on 4th of July weekend. Whether it's worth going for 4th of July or skip it all completely. But me and my family, we can't go riding 4th of July because we're busy. So those are the days to skip is 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, spring break, New Year's, and maybe even Christmas. Is Christmas one of those days? Yeah, one of those holidays. Of course, it's going to be. Yes, Christmas weekend and the period between Christmas and New Year's can be surprisingly busy for trail riding, but it depends on where you ride. For the Southeast, in warmer areas like places like people from Carolinas travel to, Christmas weekend usually moderately busy, not always packed. Families split between holiday events and riding. Some people get new machines or accessories and want to try them out. Christmas, uh, I guess, to New Year's week, often very busy at major off-road parks. People are off work and school. Cooler temperatures make riding much more comfortable than the summer. Many parks host special rides, parades, poker runs, and night rides. Crowd ranking, I usually put it like this: 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Christmas and New Year's week, Thanksgiving, and Easter. So I guess any holiday, any holiday will be the worst for riding on the trail. So basically, we want to avoid that because it's going to be very congested and it's going to be really hard to find a place, especially if you're coming from out of town. So yeah, avoid crowded holiday weekends like 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, even after summer, it would be Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving. Because after the 4th of July, people get ready for um, Halloween, for trail riding and camping. So, okay, this is actually a good segment into summer packing mistakes. Yeah, this is a great podcast segment because everyone has made at least one of these mistakes. So these are the common summer packing mistakes for trail riding and camping. Okay, so the first is heat and hydration mistakes, bringing too little water. People always underestimate summer heat. When a lot of people who come here to Myrtle Beach, Conway, or South Carolina in general, like, nah, it's not too bad, but it is. Trust me. I live here. I've lived here my whole life, and the summers are brutal. Heat and hydration mistakes. Yeah, bringing too little water. People always underestimate summer heat. Number two, forgetting electrolyte packets or sports drinks like Gatorade and like Powerade. Those really help out in the summer. Packing drinks but not enough ice, because if you pack a little ice, a little bit of ice, but like drinks but not enough ice, the ice could like melt, and you won't have cool drinks much longer. For long when you're going riding. No insulated water bottle or cooler pack up. But I guess the best thing to do is to bring one of those Stanley cups or whatever, because it will keep your drink nice and cool, even if the cabin gets hot from your engine, from the heat outside, to whatever. It really doesn't work out if you make that mistake. So that's the heat and hydration mistake. There's a lot of trail riding mistakes, like not carrying extra fluids, oil, coolant, and brake fluid. Which that's why me and my dad always make sure we are professionally taken care of with oil, coolant, and brake fluid to last us until the next service. Forgetting the repair kits or air compressors. Same thing as the not carrying extra fluids. Yeah, forgetting tire repair kits or air compressors. So, with that, I've never really had an issue with tire pressure on my Polaris Razor, and I only ride for like an hour or two, maybe, and then take a break. So we don't really ride all, we don't ride all day constantly. And then packing for mud season when it's actually dust season. Ooh. So yeah, if you're getting tire repair kits or air compressors, and then your tire goes flat, then you're screwed. Which I've never really had a single issue with my 30x10 tires. Packing for mud season when it's actually dust season. So with see, we don't really get much mud in the summer. I don't know how that would fit in, but that's one thing that a lot of people forget to do is not pack for dust season when it's not mud season. Like, it's never mud season in the summer, it's actually dust season. No spare belt or recovery gear. That's why I always go for my daily service at Red Line Power Sports here in on 501. They're always nice for me. Yeah, they're always nice to me. They're always helpful, and they're always helpful for fluids, tires. They're always checking the tires. They're checking everything. It's a full blown service. Packing from mud season was actually dust season, so that, I guess, they're not bringing gear for dust and no spare belt or recovery gear, and not bringing extra fuel for longer rides. That's another thing. Always bring a gas can full of fuel, especially with Carolina Adventure World. I mean, for about a day or so, you only need to fill up like once or twice from the extra gas that you bring. Like bring an extra gas container. So yeah, not bringing extra fuel for longer rides. Me and my dad always bring extra fuel for our long rides, mainly at Carolina Adventure World. I mean, at Riverneck, when it's only like a day or so, we'll just fill it up full to the full tank line, and we're good to go. We'll be on our way. Camping mistakes: too few shade options, canopies, tarps, and A wings. Too few shade options like canopies, tarps, and A wings. Cheap tent stakes that fall in sandy or hard ground. Forgetting battery banks or charging solutions. Ooh, those are big. Packing heavy blankets instead of lighter summer bedding. Bringing too much gear and overcrowding the camp. Ooh. So those are the camping mistakes, which I never had to deal with because me and my dad always stay in a cabin. We never have to worry about shade options. We don't have to worry about the tent stakes that fall on sandy or hard ground. We don't have to worry about power banks or charging solutions. But I always bring everything I need for the cabin, like bring my charger, bring my computer and its charger, bring it off, offline backup like my DVDs down here. I was bringing that. And the next thing is summer comfort mistakes. Forgetting bug spray. Ooh, that's almost everything people forget to bring. No sunscreen or after sun lotion. So bug spray and sunscreen is one thing that a lot of people forget, which I've never had to deal with that because I've never rode in the summer, so we don't have to worry about sunscreen or bug spray. Wearing cotton instead of moisture wrinkling clothes. No cooling towers or portable fans. Yeah, no cooling towels or portable fans. You always got to bring a portable fan or cooling towel. Not packing extra socks. Wet feet ruin weekends fast. Safety mistakes: no first aid kit. No weather app downloaded for storms. Forgetting flashlights / headlamps. And no emergency contacts shared before the trip. And that'll be a really good top 10 summer packing mistakes we've actually made. That's another thing you got to worry about. Another thing, I think that's about it. So if you follow this, you would not worry at all with your summer rides, and you'll be good to go, and you won't have any issues on the trail or camping. So here's how me and my dad do it to close out everything. So when me and my dad go trail riding, we always pick a slow season because we're always busy in the summer with Sam's Corner, with the fireworks store, with this, with that, the other. We're always busy in the summer. So when my dad gets off, it's usually in the winter, winter to early spring. That's when me and my dad go trail riding because it's not that busy. We can always find, we can always find a cabin to stay in. We don't have to worry about heat. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But if we did, we'll actually go on a day when it's not busy. We always bring everything. We always make sure we have everything. We always make sure the side by side is good to go with our professional ish services. And other than that, we've never had a single issue in trail riding because we always pick the winter or the spring, the early spring. You never go in the fall or the winter, or we actually never go in the fall or the summer or the fall. We never go we never go trail riding, even at River Neck. We never go there, or concerts. We never go during concerts because it's always be packed during when they have a special concert at River Neck or at Carolina Adventure World. So I've never had a single issue with that. But other than that, yeah, we always make sure we're on top of everything in terms of fuel, food, drinks, being cool, making sure my side by side is nice and taken care of at Redline Power Sports before each trail ride. We always make sure it's nice and clean with our pressure washer. We always make sure it's nice and it's good to go for the trail ride. So we've never had a single issue. But I hope this episode helps you guys out. We'll see you guys in the next summer trail ride video. Peace.